This is case number 12-9392, the People versus Joseph Gentz. Mr. Gentz is here today to be sentenced.
Appearances for the record.
Good morning, Your Honor. Lisa Lindsay on behalf of the people of the state of Michigan, assisted by Pat Muscat.
Good morning, Your Honor. Susan Reed on behalf of Mr. Gentz. I've had an opportunity to review the pre-sentence investigation report with Mr. Gentz. I do have some corrections that I'd like to make to it.
I'm listening.
On page 4, under defendant's description of the offense, Mr. Gentz advises that at the time of the interview, he was advised by the writer that they knew what happened and they wrote this. Mr. Gentz would stand by the sentence, by the statement that he made at the time of the plea.
Very good. Anything else?
Your Honor, on page 10, it indicates that at one point he was with the Seafarers International Union in Texas, earning, it said $8,000 per week. He says that's incorrect. It was $8,000 a month.
Okay.
On page 12 of the report, last paragraph, it indicates that at one time when he was going to AA and NA meetings, his daughter was with him. The report says that he left his daughter in the car. He indicates that that is incorrect, that the meetings provide child care so that people coming to the meetings can bring their children and they go to the child care section.
Okay.
On page 13, under mental health, with a health problem, suicidal tendencies, medication unknown, hospitalization, he says he was in Harbor Oaks Hospital in 2001. Other than that, Your Honor, we have no additions, deletions, or corrections, and would respectfully request that the court follow the sentence agreement.
Very good. At this time, we do have, I'm quite sure, some representatives from the family that would like to address the court.
Yes, Your Honor. Julie Rogers, sister of Miss Jane Bashara, would like to address the court.
Ma'am, I've been told that there's a problem. There is a problem with the media reception. I need you to come stand up at the microphone, please. Yeah. See if she's gonna come. Is she?
Yeah, she's coming.
State your name for the record.
Julie Engelbrecht Rowe.
You may proceed.
My sister Jane was one of the most decent and honest people I've ever known. She was so much more than my sister. She was my mentor, my confidant, my advisor, and my best friend. She had a long life ahead of her, and she had a lot she wanted and needed to accomplish. At times, it is still unbelievable to me that she was so needlessly and brutally murdered. This crime has completely devastated our entire family. Jane's children have been left without a mother. Jane's elderly parents have been utterly traumatized. Their physical health has been impacted as a result of this crime, and their mental health has been affected as they struggle with their confusion over these inexplicable events. We, Jane's siblings, have been completely blindsided by this loss and have struggled to work through our grief as we reestablish our roles in the family and provide support to each other, our parents and children. Jane's nieces, nephews, and godchildren have all been robbed of her love, wisdom, and guidance for the rest of their lives. None of us will live the lives we were meant to live because Jane was viciously taken from us. Jane was not only a community and church leader and the backbone of her own family, she was also the captain of her birth family, providing emotional support to her elderly parents and siblings. Her senseless murder has left an open wound in our family that will never truly heal. Every holiday, every vacation, every birthday, every family reunion, every change of season, every sunny day, every single day of our lives, we will be haunted by how Jane was taken from this world. No human being should be killed, but especially not in the cruel and cold-hearted manner in which Jane was murdered. We will never get over this, but we will learn to go on. Our family feels very strongly that this is not over with the sentencing of Mr. Gentz. Mr. Gentz had no motive to murder our sister Jane, and we believe his statement that he was coerced into murdering her. Mr. Gentz should be held accountable for his actions, which he knew were wrong. We expect that he will receive the maximum sentence possible. Our healing will begin when the whole truth is known and all who were involved are held accountable.
Thank you so much. Is there anyone else who'd like to speak on behalf of Ms. Bashara?
No, Your Honor.
You ready to proceed at this time?
Yes, the people would ask the court follow the sentencing agreement set forth in the plea agreement, which is a sentence of 17 to 28 years in the Michigan Department of Corrections.
Anything you want to say on your behalf, Mr. Gentz? Anything you want to say, Mr. Gentz?
Yes, ma'am.
Well, I'm listening.
I am very, very sorry for what happened. I'm asking for the family forgiveness for what I have done, my family for forgiveness, for what I put them through, my friends, and everybody else.
Very good. The court is going to indicate this case is about power and control. Mr. Gentz, you are a man who, despite your limited mental ability, you knew right from wrong and good from bad. All your life, people have used you and controlled you. When you were asked to kill Jane Bashara, it wasn't done instantly. The request was made, and you wanted to obey the request of your master. Despite his request, you had time to think about this and ask yourself, is this right or wrong? Sometimes you now were the one that someone now needed to commit the unthinkable act, taking a life for a man you loved and feared. How many days did you think about the task to take Jane's life? A woman who had welcomed you into her home and her family. A woman who you knew and by all accounts thought highly of. Now you had the power of life and death. Power and control are like drugs. When used inappropriately, it can be devastating, but when used wisely, it can be life-changing. Your life experiences were only of being controlled and directed. Now your master needed your help. How empowering that must have felt to you. After much persuasion and thought on your behalf, you decided to be an obedient servant and carry out the cowardly task of taking a life of a woman who did not deserve to die. A mother, a sister, a businesswoman, and yes, a wife. When you saw her emerge, did the concept of right or wrong ever enter into your mind? Maybe for a fleeting second. You were determined to carry out your task. As you emerged from your hiding place, it was not about obedience at that point. It was about control and power. For those few seconds, you had the power of God to take an innocent life and to control this awesome woman. As she pleaded and begged and struggled for her life, did you ever think that this was wrong? As she fought for her life, did you ever think to spare her from death? No. The destruction of power and control consumed you like most cowardly individuals do, and when her body fell lifeless, you put in a car and drove her to Detroit. Who would know and who would care about another homicide in a city plagued by violence and understaffed by police? But what you did not consider is that regular citizens, fed up with the violence in the city, would alert the authorities to investigate this senseless crime. Did you ever think about her family and friends when you abruptly cut short her life? How they would miss her laughter and her love? No. All you wanted to do was feel empowered and needed by a person who used you to achieve his goal, freedom from his marriage. When the media and police began to investigate this senseless crime, you thought about right and wrong then. But you only did that to save yourself. But unfortunately, it was too late. If I confess to this crime and blame my lack of educational experience and the instruction of another, maybe I will spare myself from the penalty that you deserve, life in prison. So you attempted to come forward and tell what you did under the direction of your master, who had abandoned you by that time. I'm sentencing you today based on the agreement of your attorney and the prosecution. But my obedient servant, there is a justice that you will never accept. The judgment of God and of your conscience, which will replay to you for the rest of your life. That you, the most obedient servant, can never escape the failure to do what was right and the request of what was evil. I have the opportunity, unfortunately, to listen to your sister, who every day is plagued and haunted by what you did. However, at this point, your sister is gone. That's the reality. I've had an opportunity to be a judge for over 16 years and to sit here and see death destroy families, take lives, compromise mental stability. And what you have to do, you got to ask yourself, did your sister stand for something? And if she did, you have to continue that legacy. Instead of being haunted by how she died, be empowered by how she lived. That's your task. And if you allow this anger and bitterness, it will destroy you. It will destroy the ones that you love. And the question has to be, haven't you lost enough already? Man's judgment will never compare to God's wrath. And that's something that no man can impose. With that, it is on my unfortunate obligation to sentence you to this sentence agreement that, in my eyes, does not comport to the damage that you've done. At this time, the court is going to sentence you to the Michigan Department of Corrections for no less than 17, no more than 28 years. Terms and conditions of the plea agreement are specified in agreement for special consideration, which has been executed by all the parties. Dismiss count 2, conspiracy to commit murder. The court is going to give you 333 days credit. The court is going to mark this final medical. Take him out. That concludes this matter. You have 42 days to appeal my decision. If you cannot, for attorney want to be appointed to you, that concludes this matter. Good luck to you. Good luck to your family.
Your Honor, I believe the 333 days.
How many days?
This was originally scheduled for